Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Gardiner Houlgate Auctioneers based in the UK. And we're going to have a look at one of their latest auctions. This is an auction of antique and classical guitars that's happening on the 9th of December. It's the 3rd of December at the time of recording this video, so there's a little bit of time left to go. This particular auction, I believe the buyer's premium is 26.4%. Not very many lots in this auction, so we'll go through everything pretty quickly. As I always say, this is a UK based auction, so if you're outside of the UK, if you're in Europe or anywhere else in the world, then check all the terms and conditions, import export fees, shipping fees, CITES restrictions, all of that stuff. And also just to say, Gardiner Houlgate, they like to do a few auctions kind of back to back, so this is one of 4 auctions that's happening in kind of this early part of December. You have a kind of guitar auction on the 7th of December, I believe, also one on the 8th, and then on the 9th you have this kind of antique guitar auction, and then you also have a musical instrument, general musical instrument auction on the 9th as well. So there's 2 auctions on the same day, but Gardiner Houlgate have decided to kind of separate this kind of particular auction. Let's just double check if we have a look in the forthcoming sales just to show you if that's correct. Yeah, 7th and then 8th we got guitars, and then 9th we have antique guitars and musical instruments again on the 9th. So just to confirm that, so we're just going to have a look at this antique and classical guitar auction and see what they have. A few interesting things here, some other not so interesting things, but let's see. So we have a 19th century small body guitar in need of a restoration here, with a kind of butterfly design on the front. It said hairline and open cracks to the back, as we can probably kind of see a bit there. Estimate is £100 to £200, which seems pretty much kind of spot on really. Then we have an antique French guitar by and branded Petit Jean Lane in Mirecourt. We've got 800 to 1200 on this. It looks like quite a nice example of a Mirecourt violin. I wonder if it's been restored or something, because it looks very, very good. Original ebonized case there. Recently restored by Rowan Lowe. And I didn't just look at this item before. I just looked at this and thought, given its age, this must have been restored, and I've made that mistake before, saying, oh, this looks in amazing condition, and then you see that it's been restored. But anyway, that's good, ready to play for someone. So yeah, nice looking guitar there. Now we have probably the star lot in this auction. 1851 Lewis Panormo guitar, made in England. Beautiful, 3,000 to 5,000 for this. I've seen one very, very similar in a museum. These are great guitars. Really, really nice instruments. These are very popular, very collectible. There are definitely people that have a few of these. 3 to 5, that seems to be bang on the money really. There's a few kind of cracks repaired, Brazilian rosewood back and sides. I think these are kind of fairly susceptible to kind of cracking and things like that, but they still kind of sound good. It's got engraved Baker tuners there with ivory buttons, so that's really nice, good quality tuners there. I don't know if we can see a bit more on that. So really nice tuners. So yeah, great, wonderful guitar there. Probably very, very good for someone out there. And obviously, just to say, Lewis Panormo, one of the members of the Panormo family, very famous for also making violin family instruments as well. And then we have a 19th century 6 double course guitar labelled Joseph Pages, 5,000 to 8,000 here, and it looks pretty much like the typical Pages guitar, like wonderful kind of maker of guitars. Yeah, it looks like a really nice example. Once again, this looks also in very good condition, so I wonder if it's had some work done recently. Label Joseph Pages, Mimizo en Cadiz, 1830. Back and sides rosewood, repaired hairline to treble side, a few other bits here and there. Sold on behalf of the vendor, who inherited the guitar from Michael and Doreen Musket, who were touring musicians specialising in early music. They were avid collectors of instruments, always on the search whilst on their travels. This guitar being one of a collection of around 200 instruments from around the world throughout the years. The family are led to believe this guitar came from a music shop in Spain. There you go. The guitar was restored by Anthony J. Smith, 15th of October 1976. A summary of his work, handwritten on an invoice, which is supplied with the sale. The guitar had more recent minor restorations carried out by luthier Steve Clark. Interesting, but nice looking guitar. Anytime you see these kind of older guitars looking in good condition, they pretty much have to have been restored or had some kind of work done to them. So, but anyway, nice looking guitar, 5 to 8, desirable guitar. Yamaha CG140 classical guitar there, and a Hokkaido classical, pretty low quality, 40 to 80 there. Prudencio Sayers model, Requinto nylon string, and then looks like a little child's one. Once again, nothing too exciting there. Suzuki classical guitar and a Valencia, once again pretty low tier stuff there. Manuel Rodriguez Ejios Model B classical guitar there, 80 to 120. Classical guitar labelled Juan Estruch, 2 to 300, quite nice back on that. Hagstrom Isabella classical guitar, made in Sweden, interesting to see that. Alhambra Model 5P classical guitar, made in Spain, 100 to 200. Alhambra 11P classical guitar, made in Spain. Backs and sides Indian rosewood. Santos Martinez electro classical guitar, 60 to 100. Indian rosewood. And Perez CT650 E2 thin line electro classical guitar, made in Spain. And a Camps NA C4 electro classical guitar, made in Spain, 4 to 600. 2016 Washburn C40 classical guitar, 30 to 50. Kimbara electro classical guitar there, 30 to 50. Manuel Rodriguez classical there, C1, 80 to 120. 1979 Takamine electro classical guitar there, 200 to 400. Manuel Raimondo 136 classical guitar, 100 to 200. Juan S. Rivas Model 7 classical guitar, made in Spain, 80 to 120. MG Contreras classical guitar, 300 to 500. 1966 Antonio Lopez Martin classical guitar, made in Spain, 2 to 400. Antonio Lorca 3600 classical guitar, made in Spain, 60 to 100. Alvarez by Kazuo Yari classical guitar, made in Japan, 3 to 500. Alvarez by Kazuo Yari again, 4 to 600. Another one, wow, it's quite a few, 6 to 800 again. Cordoba Luthier Series Parlor Classical, 4 to 600 there. And 2002 Valeriano Bernal Flamenco guitar there, 3 to 600, and it's got a Hokkaido guitar with it. 1960s Ibanez classical guitar, 300 to 400. 1960s Jose Ramirez III guitar, 500 to 1000. Classical guitar labelled Conde Hermanos 1966, 5 to 600. Oh, interesting, 1970 Harold Peterson Model C classical guitar. I actually own one of these. Actually, I think I own a Model B. I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I looked at it. But this is, yeah, interesting. Back inside Indian rosewood. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Popular maker, based in the UK. But from elsewhere before. Yeah, interesting. I think 1970, that must be, I think he died at some point in the 70s. I thought he died potentially in 1971. I think mine is labelled 1971. I could be wrong, and I think it was finished by his son after he died. I can't remember, but these are really good. They're solid classical guitars actually. Maybe not say the greatest for modern kind of performance or concerts, but I think they're really solid classical guitars. It sounds, yeah, it's a nice sounding guitar, the one that I have. So interesting to see a Harold Peterson around. There's a few of them about. I think he did make quite a lot of them. 1966 George Bolin Duet 3 classical guitar, 1000 to 2000 there. 1993 Masaki Sakurai classical guitar, 800 to 1200. Oh, actually, let's go back to that. Just seeing made in the Kono workshop. Okay, that's interesting. I just noticed that in the corner of my eye. 2016 Yulong Guo chamber concert classical guitar, 2 to 3000. Interesting. This is more modern style, and with this kind of extra kind of bit of a rest there for the arm. I think you sometimes see this on maybe some of the Smallman guitars and stuff like that, so maybe this is a kind of heavier construction, a bit more like the Smallman style, but interesting. Not a maker I've heard of before. 2009 Pete Beer classical guitar, Somerset, 800 to 1200. And 2006 Christopher Carrington classical guitar, I think made in Texas. I really like that the headstock there. That is really quite cool. Yeah, looks almost kind of religious, like a church or something. So Texas, USA. It's interesting. 1983 Trevor Semple Tabitha classical guitar, 1000 to 1500. Some quite good classical guitars here actually. 1980s Eduardo Ferreira flamenco guitar, 4 to 600. 1997 Juan Cachemira 1A classical guitar, 500 to 1000. 2013 Vincente Carrillo Herencia guitar, 3 to 4000. New concept Madagascar rosewood. Okay, sold with original purchase invoice from My Spanish Guitar, 5,950 euros. Okay. 2010 Dieter Hopf and Manuel Adalid Artista classical. It's interesting looking top there, 1,500 to 2,500. And an Armin Hanika Lattice classical guitar made in Germany, 1,000 to 2,000. Once again, quite an interesting kind of headstock on that one as well. That's quite nice. And a 1977 Garrido classical guitar. That's interesting. Made in Spain. And I think, let's see if there's anything else. Oh no, we're back to the beginning, so that's basically it. So yeah, an interesting little auction. Probably the most interesting things being maybe this French guitar, the Panormo for sure, and the Pages. So a few interesting things there. Some interesting more classical guitars as well, a few contemporary ones. So definitely worth checking out if you like kind of antique guitars and classical guitars. Probably not the most exciting auction I've seen in this kind of regard, but it's definitely fairly solid, small and solid. So I'll put a link in the description and check it out and see what you think, really. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.